this is Nayalla. Thank you so much for joining me again today. So today what I want to do is go through something that was highlighted in the last video I did, which was a channeling from Metatron. So there was a lot going on around me in that video, and what I'm going to explain is a few things that happened in my own personal life and what Metatron says is really themes coming forward in the collective. Because for those of you that watched my energy update for 2020 and January, for 2020 in particular, a big theme is balance. And what Metatron was sharing with me is that in our quest for balance, in our searching to find that middle point, to find neutrality, to be neutral, what many of us have actually done is we've missed the mark completely. We've gone kind of beyond balance and into a place of blandness where we feel sort of boxed in a way that we can't really express our true selves. We can't really go into all the colours connected to our emotions, to share our truth, to share our vast array of colours, because we feel like that is putting us in a bad light, or that is showing that we are out of balance in some way. And Metatron really wants to remind us all that we are here to have a human experience as a human. And as we have this human experience, we go through human emotions, including anger, fears, disappointment. All these things that could be classed as darkness are our nature. They're in our human nature. So if we think about the yin and yang, we've got equal balance there between the dark and the light, and it is in complete balance, in harmony, our light and our dark, our male and our female. That is complete balance. It is not choosing one for another. It is embracing them and working with all that we truly have. So this is about balancing our darkness as well as balancing our light, and as what was said in the energy update, balancing our male and female qualities as well. So if we think about Earth guides us and shows us and teaches us what true neutrality really is. Earth does not take sides. Earth loves freely. Earth is not afraid to do the right thing for all, and will step off the fence, not to pick a side, so to speak, but to realign, to regain balance. So what we've got right now, and what we have had since the eclipse, very much highlighting to us as a collective, is any trauma that we are still holding in the body, still holding in the cells, stories connected to trauma, and we are clearing that out in the collective. Now, big themes coming forward surrounding what is being cleared from the collective right now is humiliation, bullying, persecution, all trauma connected to those things. So you yourself may have in the past experienced at some point in your life where yourself has been used against you in some way. Perhaps your words have been twisted. Maybe you've been heavily criticized, possibly manipulated by others, made to feel inadequate or less than. This all leads us to going through this neglecting or abandoning parts of self, and that is another big theme that is coming forward right now to be explored, is the feeling of abandonment. These are all things that very much need to be healed, and that's why they're going to be highlighted to us right now. So all these things lead to us feeling like we have to suppress our true self, really hide parts of ourselves and dull down or dilute ourselves. So living our life from a place of fear, and like I mentioned before, almost like we're sat on the fence and we feel like we can't say what we need to say or do what we need to say, that calling in there, we're very much restricting ourselves for fear of being judged, fear of being abandoned, fear of being pushed aside, cast away from society. And this is very much out of balance. This is not allowing ourselves to step into our true, authentic selves. So Metatron is really wanting to highlight that balance does not equal blandness. I also want to speak about the word neutrality. So neutral, the meaning of neutral, to do with what I'm speaking about, is not aligned with or supporting or favouring either side in a war, dispute or contest, belonging to neither side in a controversy. So to be fully aligned with self, your values, your truth, you then have to have confidence within yourself to show up and stand firm in your own beliefs. So to be actually fully in alignment with neutrality, you have to have confidence to stand firm in what you believe in. If you are sat on the fence, then very likely you're not going to be neutral. You're going to feel like you have to pick a side, that you have to agree with everybody, that you have to keep the peace. And in fact, what you're doing is you are diluting your true self. So that, I hope that has made sense. So I really want to go into some personal things that happened. So something that you may have picked up or maybe didn't do in the last video is that there was a lot going on around me. It was very busy, and I have many times been faced with people that have actually tried to prevent or stop me putting out messages or doing my work, or even just showing up as myself in the world at times as well. So I had somebody that was interfering with that message at the beginning part, and what actually happened is I had to step in and say, look, you're putting me off, you're affecting my work. Now I stopped the video and started again to get myself in that good energy, that good place to put out the message from Metatron. But it just left this horrible energy. I'm very protective of my work, very protective of this channel, and the last thing I want to do is put out not very nice energy. I'm obviously, being a sensitive, I'm very aware that energy affects others. So obviously I want to be putting out really good energy there. So I was being real hard on myself, and I had to think, well, what is all this about? If that bit where I told that person off had been put out on YouTube, what is the problem there? All I was doing was being my true self and standing up for myself, which is what I teach. That's one of my main messages, is to do that. And Metatron was like, well, this is what many of us are going through right now, what many of you are going through right now in the collective. You are in that place of fully understanding what it is to step into your power, what it is to live and speak your truth. And sometimes you do have to, step out there and say what's on your mind and say how you really feel. That's very much what you're being asked to do right now. So that was something from the eclipse that was highlighted to me, and many of us have gone through the same thing where we're really faced with ourselves. And for a little while I did kind of neglect that part of me, or push that side away. I didn't want to look at that part, because obviously I was filming, so I was having to see that on film, what I was saying to that other person. So I did eventually go back to the video and look at it and realise it wasn't anything like as bad as I first thought, but clearly wasn't really the same energy to do with the whole video. Wouldn't have made any sense for me in the middle of that video to be, you know, putting somebody in their place, so it was cut out. So another thing that was highlighted to me was when I was at the park with my daughter, and one of the main parks we go to is going through a bit of renovation right now, so there's not a lot for the children to play on, so they were all congregated and crowded around one climbing frame. Now this is a climbing frame that my daughter has been on so many times, so I was there with the dog, you know, obviously back a bit because I had the dog, didn't want to upset anybody else who doesn't like dogs, and my daughter was up there, and all of a sudden she started flapping about saying she was stuck and she couldn't go across the bit that she always goes across. And I was like, you can do it, you know, you've done this lots of times before. Being an introvert, I don't really want to be raising my voice in public, and because I was a bit far back, obviously it was kind of having to raise my voice for her to hear me. Obviously doing my best to kind of mouth to her as well, saying, you're fine, you can do this. And I was like, reach out to that bit and you can get across. And she was like, I can't. And I thought, what is all this about? You know, being an empath as well, I was just like picking up on her tension and her agitation. And then I realised all the children around her had their parents next to them. So in that moment, my daughter went into self-doubt. She totally lost sight of the fact she'd done it millions of times before, well, not millions of times, but lots of times before, and lost sight of her own ability and was just focused on what was being projected back to her. And she thought, everybody else has got their parents around them, I don't. I want a bit of that. I'm going to make my mum feel guilty so that my mum comes up here and helps me. And I was in that place of thinking, I don't want to be seen as a bad parent, but I also know what is right for my child. And in that instance, it wouldn't have done my daughter any favours at all to go to hook the dog up somewhere, climb up that climbing frame and be the saviour and rescue my daughter, because she didn't need rescuing. What she needed in that moment was to be reminded that she could do it for herself, which in the end she remembered that she could do it for herself, had a great big smile when she got off that climbing frame and was like, yes, I did it. And I was like, see, I told you could do it. And again, I went into this place of feeling, you know, really bad and guilty, and Metatron was like, this is what you do. This is what you do. You are, you know, always judging yourself and looking around you, and you are doing things differently and then feeling guilty about doing it differently. But in actual fact, you doing it differently is right for you. It's right for your life, and in that instance, it was right for you and your daughter. It was right for your relationship. It was right for her. And again, this is really what we're being shown. This is what's showing up in the collective, that to work together is very important, but to not lose our identity, to not lose our sense of being an individual as well. This is very important as we do come together and as we do gel and as we do work as a collective, is to absolutely be the collective, but also remember who we are, and to not be afraid to at times step out of the norm and show another way. So we are all going through transformations right now. The collective is going through a transformation. Earth is going through a transformation. And individually, we also are going through transformations. So what is coming forward is that we learn, or are learning now, how to go through and grow through light and through darkness. And what I'm talking about here is true light and true darkness. So our natural human nature that has been untampered with. So our shadow side, so to speak, is going to be coming forward, not for us to fear it, not for us to push it away, but for us to learn from it, to grow from it, to adapt and move forward. So we go through things in life. We all have emotions that we go through. We feel, we hurt, we are human, we are alive, and we are all being asked to be real by the universe right now. So what is real to us? You know, in that first instance in the video, my truth was to be annoyed, was to be angry, and to express that anger outward. And in actual fact, by expressing that anger outward, it did diffuse a situation. That person backed away and allowed me to do what I needed to do. I didn't hurt anybody, you know, I didn't cause a fight, I wasn't unruly in any way. I just made it clear that this person was, you know, not helping me in any way, and to back off basically. So I was showing up authentically, and then obviously, because, you know, it wasn't really how I wanted to be showing up on YouTube in the middle of my video, I got quite upset about it, and, you know, I felt hurt, which was another natural emotion to go through. Now, I allowed these feelings to go through the body. I worked through them. I got lessons from it. I grew from it, and I moved forward. I didn't wallow in it. I allowed whatever came up to come up so that I could grow through it. So again, in the collective, what we've got right now is guilt, shame, and fear around expressing our real feelings. And so this is bringing us out of balance. It's not a balanced energy to feel guilt, shame, or fear about being who we truly are. Also, we've got a lot of those feelings around anger. Anger is very misunderstood. Anger is actually a great energy. It really helps us to move forward. It is a moving energy. But because it has been so misunderstood, what actually happens is we can turn it in and it can damage us within, or we can suppress it and it causes illness in the body, or it can then just sort of like shoot out and become something much bigger than it really was to start with, and then we can go into rage and such, which then can be dangerous, can hurt either ourselves or others. And I think what I'm going to do, this is something that I've had on my mind since the beginning of this channel actually, is to go into anger a lot more, so that we can explore that and understand it, and bring anger back into balance as well, basically. So that's something I'll do in the future. So we are being asked to authentically show up unapologetically. Everyone, even those you may see as highly spiritually evolved or enlightened, still go through things. They still feel. They are human. You know, they still go through human emotions and feelings. What we're all being asked to do as well is not to put anybody on a pedestal. Don't do that. You know, it's important to understand we are all learning, and that's something that I put out there right from the very start. You know, I don't have all the answers. I'm learning, I'm growing every day. I'm becoming a better version of myself, and it is through exploring what comes up in each day. So it's not that the highly spiritually evolved person or being or somebody that you see enlightened doesn't have any emotions or feelings. It's just that they're at that point where they can quickly move through them rather than allowing them to swallow them whole. So I hope that has made sense to you there. You are allowed to have human emotions. It's not wrong. It's not wrong to feel. No person here on earth at this time is perfect. None of us are perfect. Anybody that is trying to have you believe they're perfect, they're lying. It's not true. Don't believe them, please. We are being asked to show up authentically, to say what's on our minds, to be honest, to speak up for ourselves when we need to speak up for ourselves, with the intention to learn, to grow, to heal, and to enlighten others, to be heard, and also to connect authentically with others. And the only way we can connect authentically with others is to be ourselves in any given moment. Even if we don't like how we showed up in that moment, that was authentic to you and you can learn from it. Don't suppress it, let it out. And also to learn to give others the room and space and love to express what they need honestly too. If we think about children, children are very real, very raw, very honest. If they're angry, they'll express as angry. If they're sad, they'll express as sad. If they're upset, they'll express as upset. And they'll quickly snap out of it again because they're given that room to go through these emotions. But as we get older, what tends to happen is we are taught that it's not okay to feel those ways, and then we suppress and don't know how to handle ourselves, don't know how to deal with these things. So it's bringing this back into balance. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else. Allow what needs to come up, allow what you need to go through, allow yourself to go through it with no judgment. It's not wrong to be annoyed or angry or upset or to feel deeply. These feelings are natural, they are normal, and they are healthy. So don't suppress them or repress them. Express more from now on. That's really what we're all being asked to do. So dark is really being asked to be balanced with the light. So equal measures here. You know, we are full of dark energy and we are full of light energy. This is natural. It's natural to have darkness and it's natural to have lightness. Not, you know, out of balance though, you know, not where we are too far in the light or too far in the dark, but bringing them both together and working with both of them. Again, think of the yin and the yang sign symbol. That is really highlighting what we're aiming for here. So balanced amounts and working in unity. This is really bringing us into unity consciousness. So not pushing parts away, not abandoning parts of self or not loving parts of ourselves, loving all of it, loving ourselves through all of it. We get where we are emerging through the confusion. So again, if we think about the energy of 2020, this is allowing us to see clearly. And in order to see clearly, we have to be balanced. So all the struggles of the past, they were very much needed in order to grow. We needed to have those experiences in order to be enlightened to certain things in our life, or not filter life through the old way of looking at life. So we will have built up these filters made up of old beliefs, and these old beliefs will only lead to us wheel spinning or looping or preventing us from growing. So we are all being asked to take off the filters of the old and to see in a fresh, brand new way. Things have changed. We have changed. Energy has changed. So stay focused, stay in a place of love, and stay in the now as much as you possibly can. Learn through all emotions. Let go of all guilt, fear, and shame. Be okay to feel what you feel and speak your truth as much as you possibly can. Get in a place where you're confident to be able to do that as well. Remember, behind it all is love. If we go back to what I spoke about the video, you know, my anger was because I love what I do, and I want to share love. I don't want to put out not very nice energy. I want it to be good energy because I want to share my love. So that energy around me, that person around me, was not allowing me to do that. So under all of what I was feeling, it was love. And that's the same for my daughter. You know, when she was up there, she lost sight of things, but the reason she was expressing that is because she loves herself and she didn't want to hurt herself, basically, and she lost sight of the fact that she wasn't going to hurt herself. She was totally in control of that situation, in control of her life, so she gave her power away to what was around her for a moment or two. So let love guide you back to your true self. You will be forever inventing and recreating self through self-awareness, higher consciousness, and embracing the richness of human experiences through life itself. So don't be afraid to live. Now, I did pull a card, and the card that came up is very much reflecting the energy right now as well. So if you can see that. So this is the Violet Duchess, Stifled, Bored and Stuck. And I'm going to read what it says in the book because this really highlights why I want to share this video. It really highlights what we're going through as a collective right now. Bored, stifled. Ah, yes, she's trying to be good and nice and polite, but it's not working. This lovely and very passionate aristocrat has her fairy wings tucked firmly in, not visible at all, and is sitting stiffly listening to someone give a lecture on manners. She's polite on the surface, but it's easy to see and feel that she is bored, frustrated, and ready to fly away at the first opportunity. She is tired of the stuffiness of people around her, of being proper, formal, and ever so ladylike. She finds herself restricted by a world where manners and protocols have become more important than spontaneity, magic, and freedom. And she longs for that. For now she will bide her time. But you can see the frustration growing beneath. And frustration is, after all, only your own life force turned within and longing to break free of its restraints. So that's something that I was meaning to mention as well. This is like what has been happening for many years is we've had put on top of us and put on top of us is to be politically correct. And in all this politically correct madness, again, we have felt like we can't speak or say what's on our mind. We can't do what we really want to do. We can't say what we really want to say. And that's why we've got a lot of these extremes playing out in the world right now, because what we're doing is we are finding our balance from all of this that has been pushing us and weighing us down and making us feel like we've had to dilute our true selves. In your admirable quest for balance, you can actually become too neutral, pretending to be serene, acting polite, not making waves, and not speaking your truth. Now that I've arrived, showing you exactly how you feel, it's time to discover or rediscover a raw and honest emotional reaction you had to a person or an issue and express it. It's all very well being a lover of harmony and not wanting to be a troublemaker, but being a lukewarm person in regards to situations that really matter is not going to do you any favours. Bottling up your true self in turn leads to unhealthy relationships, aches, pains, and even illness. When I come up, go for the passionate and truthful option and rediscover just how strongly you can feel and how much fun you can have. You desire to be liked, to please, and to be seen as a lady or a gentleman. In cheating yourself out of something wonderful that you deserve to experience. Sometimes there are rules that simply need to be broken. Keeping to the spirit of the law sometimes means breaking the letter of the law. That's how things change. There is a situation at the moment that has revealed itself as unjust, unfair, and absolutely unattractive to you. But you have yet to speak up. The most inspiring thing about the situation is that you'll discover just how safe it is to stand up for what you truly believe in. Others will be inspired too. So while it feels like you're taking a risk, at first, after a while you realise you've started your own small revolution. So if you see something unjust in the world right now, don't keep quiet. This is for all of us to speak our truth, to stand up for what we believe in and to make a change. Your word has so much power. Your voice has so much power. You hold an enormous amount of power. We all do, and we're all being asked to take back our power right now. And the only way we can take back our power is to stand in our own authentic truth. So I hope that has helped you in some way today. I am sending you so much love. I am wishing you an amazing day, whatever you are up to, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Goodbye for now.